And all the girls dream that they'd be Ben's partner. They'd be Ben's partner. And you're joining me.
You're so vain.
You
probably think this song is about you. You're so vain. You're so vain.
Oh my
so
God,
vain.
okay.
I told you, she's great.
Okay, multitask. Let's get into it.
Mm-hmm. It's The Critics in the Crowd, the podcast in which we tackle the media that divides audiences and critics, audiences and audiences, critics, and everybody else on this planet Earth. You're listening to the velvety voice of your host with the most, Steele Philippek. And before we go anywhere else, I want to say that it was me, Steele, who chose this movie today. So Liz, you can just go back on your high horse, judging me for liking Orson Welles, and ride off into the sunset. Also, hi, how are you, Liz?
Hi, everyone. I'm Liz Ramirez, the cool co-host of The Critics and the Crowd. I'm an actor, producer, and rom-com it girl wannabe. And today we've got something special and new for you. Usually you're listening to Steele meander about polysyllabic verbiage and me spout off my love of Jennifer Lopez and Brittany Snow and Jennifer Lopez again. But today, we've got a third voice, a better voice. Say hello to Kathryn Fray, a US-based professional producer, production manager, and actor. Originally from the UK and Australia, she brings her distinctive accent, approach, and energy to transforming ideas and narrative into memorable experiences. With over 30 years of stage, screen, audio, and production practice...
It's practically 40 now. I'm feeling my age.
You know what? Yes. Use loud and proud. Loud and proud. She has also held her New York City tour guide license, put on one-woman shows everywhere from a downtown dumpling shop to an uptown speakeasy champagne bar, and to relaxed takes on long-distance road races and trails. Since 2016, she has played the lead role of Belle in Queens of the Sapphire Sea, an homage to the golden age of radio, written by some guy called Steele Philippek and his mate Adam. Seasons 1 and 2 can be downloaded now via your favorite podcast app, and Season 3 will be live and direct into your ears sometime when this idiot Steele can finish it. Give it up for Kathryn Fray. How you doing, Kathryn?
Thank you so much, Liz. I've still made me a delicious cup of coffee, so I'm good.
Oh, good. I'm glad. Where's my cup?
I offered you coffee.
Okay, well, I thought...
I offered you tea.
You're right.
I offered you croissant.
I thought I would say that. It's like funny banter.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Thank you for breaking into my...
delicious.
Thank you.
All right, reel it in. We have a lot to get to today. We're covering How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, the not-so-surprise hit from 2003. I have to say that I was shocked that this qualified for Critics in the Crowd. I knew that professionals would be a little cantankerous regarding the tropes of the rom-com, but there's a big divide here. Don't give me your initial thoughts, Kathryn. We have a specific segment for that. But what's your general feel for romantic comedies, rom-coms, Kate Hudson, Matthew McConaughey, and hoodwinking your romantic partner into a 10-day tryst in which every word you utter is, at best, a stretch of the truth and, at worst, an outright fabrication?
For legal reasons, I'm not going to answer the second part of that question. But this was such a great exploration for me. So if you ask me, do I like rom-coms? My answer is like, ew, no. And I think that's because in my mind, it's that mid-90s to mid-early 2000s period of filmmaking where all the little film images look the same. There's a cute guy and a cute girl leaning with their backs to each other. It's like looking at the Hallmark Channel at Christmas. It's generic. But then there's exceptions to the rule. 10 Things I Hate About You, which is so perfect as a film.
So great.
Sleepless in Seattle, which does not get old. And I just bawled my way through Bridget Jones 4. So I'm clearly a liar and a hypocrite. But it got me thinking, because I know I can be so judgy, it got me thinking, do I really hate rom-coms? And because my favorite period of cinema is like the golden age of cinema, they called them screwball comedies, but they're romantic comedies. Spencer Tracy and Cary Grant and Lauren Bacall and Ginger Rogers. I mean, some of my most favorite films are His Girl Friday, Woman of the Year, My Favorite Wife, which has some of the most acerbic one-line deliveries by women ever. If you haven't seen it, I cannot recommend it enough. And then, of course, a little known, well, I'm sure some of your listeners will have known about it, but a movie called The Shop Around the Corner, which later became the iconic rom-com.
What is it? You Got Mail?
Correct!
Yep.
Yeah. So ask me again, do I like romantic comedies?
Kathryn, do you like romantic comedies?
Oh my God, yeah, I really do.
Man, I was hoping for some backup today, and I'm just going to get...
Dude, I did my best to hate the genre.
Fans of the show will know that Steele also likes romantic comedies, but like Kathryn, the kind of tropes that we see in this mid-90s to mid-aughts, not so much. So, we are coming into this with mixed opinions. Liz, anything before we get to initial thoughts?
No, let's just get straight to it. I'm ready. The stats. How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days is a quintessential romantic comedy mixed with Lord of the Rings level fantasy. I'll get to what that means in due time. Oddly based off a picture book, the kind that you might find in the novelty section of your local Barnes & Noble. It stars Kate Hudson and Matthew McConaughey, along with Kathryn Hahn, Adam Goldberg, Michael McHale, Shalom Harlow, Bebe Neuwirth, Robert Klein, and Annie... Oh my god. Parisi?
Parise, yeah. Parise.
Parise?
Parise.
Parise?
Parise.
Thank you. Annie Parise, Celia Weston, and the legendary Lillian Montevecchi as Mrs. DeLauer. A stacked cast. No. Seriously.
Paramount Pictures released the film in February 2003, a week ahead of Valentine's Day. Genius, if you ask me. Which nobody did because I literally don't remember where I was in 2003. Get some good word of mouth going and then all but demand that couples go to see it on V-Day itself. Shot on a budget of only $50 million. I mean, by today's standards, that's like pocket change, right?
Yeah.
It would go on to gross $177.5 million worldwide. I want to know how many people had their first kiss watching this picture, right?
Oh, that's a good question. Audiences, if you had your first kiss sometime around the release of this film, let us know in our social channels.
You know, I don't think I've ever seen a rom-com in theaters.
How is that possible?
I don't know.
Liz, I got you for your birthday an AMC membership.
And you know, I just saw Mickey
What?
17. I know, isn't that amazing?
Okay, I have questions.
Well, it's because the period of amazing rom-coms happened while I was like a child. So,
you know what?
I wasn't taking, unless you count Twilight as a
Okay,
rom-com.
now that's subjective.
I guess you okay. Well, okay, but you're right.
Anyway, as I was saying, it was clearly a big hit, albeit mostly with audiences. Rotten Tomatoes, I'm so sorry, let me translate that. Rotten Tomatoes
Oh, that's perfect.
currently has 77% of audiences vibing this film on over 250,000 ratings. It only got more profitable thanks to DVD sales, do you remember those?
No.
And rentals. Oh, can we just pour one out for our homie Blockbuster, please?
Homie Blockbuster. Well, literally, me and Still both did the pouring motion. I
We
respect.
can't pour anything on this desk. We'd like to keep ourselves.
And I'm not wasting. This is the good coffee.
This is really good coffee. So lots of people watched it post-cinematic release, along with endless marathons on cable television, where it could air more or less uncensored thanks to the lack of sexy scenes, save one. Yeah, that's kind of cute. I like that scene. We'll talk about that later.
Mm-hmm.
And the ability for cable channels to air the word bull with impunity. I'm so sorry. It makes me laugh when people call them marathons. It's like run one and then talk to me. You sat on your butt and Netflix asked if you were still watching.
I mean, it's American, yeah.
Very.
The critics were far more mixed about the scatological verbal tics of this film. Only 42% of registered RT reviewers found this to be a fun time at the cinema. The consensus from Rotten Tomatoes... Sorry, I need to translate this for our guest. Rotten Tomatoes.
Matthew McConaughey and Kate Hudson are charming together, but they can't overcome How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days' silly premise and predictable script.
Kate Hudson had broken out and almost famous 3 years prior to this film, playing the real-life super groupie Penny Lane in Cameron Crowe's cult classic. While the film wasn't a commercial success, Hudson garnered rave reviews, winning a Golden Globe and earning an Oscar nom for Best Actress in a Supporting Role. In between that film and this, Hudson had appeared in Dr. T and the Women, About Adam, Ricochet River, The Four Feathers, Le Divorce, and Alex and Emma. From the blank stares I'm receiving across the table, the audience will note that none of these were quite as notable as Kate's big break.
I've literally never heard of those movies.
Well, okay, Alex and Emma. I love that one. My mom loved that one.
Yes, I have seen Dr. T and the Women. No
Okay,
comment.
but I got nothing on
I've
those.
seen About Adam. No comment. The Four Feathers, I think it's a remake of a classic and a novel. And there's some stuff there, but there's a lot of white colonization going on in that movie, too.
Oy.
Le Divorce and Alex and Emma, I've seen those as well. They're fine. It just...
What about The Skeleton Key?
That came after this, actually.
Oh, because we're talking about what happened before. Yeah, you're right. Not about her whole filmography. Let's keep going.
Yeah.
Matthew McConaughey didn't have much of a better track record either. In the 2 years since he'd appeared in The Wedding Planner, check out the critics and the crowd coverage on that hit, Matty McC had starred in 3 films: Frailty, 13 conversations about one thing. God, that sounds, I mean, I wouldn't want to listen to that anyway. Wait, or is that this podcast?
Burn.
And something, again, I've never heard of, Rain of Fire, none of which were hits. Well, clearly, his money-making potential from U571 and The Wedding Planner still had McConaughey as an A-lister, but he definitely was looking for another hit with this film.
As a lot was riding on this film for both of our stars, I believe the studio made the right decision in bringing in director Donald Petrie. Most of you listeners are thinking, who? But once I start listing off some titles, you'll see why he was perfect in the chair. Mystic Pizza, Grumpy Old Men, Richie Rich, and most recently to this film, Miss Congeniality, the Sandra Bullock smash hit from 2000. While not a mega director akin to Spielberg or Cameron, and certainly not without his flaws, he helmed the remake of My Favorite Martian that bombed. Petrie was well known as a tactical director who could make an appealing film with a surprising amount of pathos and thematic heft.
Filming took place in New York City and Los Angeles. Notable New York City landmarks include the Alexander Hamilton U.S. Customs House, the Condé Nast Building, the boardwalks of Staten Island and Bay Ridge, nice little trick shot in a couple places to get a better angle of the Verrazano Narrows Bridge, and numerous locations in Soho. Before we go any further, you can currently find How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days on Peacock and Paramount+.
Initial thoughts.
Kathryn, you're our guest, so open this can of canoodling up. What were your initial thoughts of How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days before you started watching? Had you seen it before?
Are you ready for this, Liz?
Mm-hmm.
I have never seen this picture before until you guys invited me to come and talk about it.
Yes.
This is the best!
I love this kind of thing.
When the opening titles rolled, and I was like, oh, Jesus Christ, okay, I'm only doing this because you're my friends. And I saw that Bebe Neuwirth was in it. I was like, oh, okay, great. And then Catherine Hahn, and I was like, okay, perfect. And it's not just because we have the same first name. And Warren Phillips, he's so charismatic on screen. And I was like, this could be great.
Okay.
There is a stacked cast in this. And I didn't know that when I was first watching it. I think I was 19 when this movie came out. And so I didn't know or didn't care. Now looking back and watching, I'm like, so yeah, they did their job casting this movie. What about you, Liz?
Listen, you would think that this is one of my all-time favorite rom-coms, but I do have to gently break this to everyone. It's not.
Wow.
It's one I actually really never understood the hype for. I never really cared about. And I hadn't seen it in a while and was excited to rewatch and see, and maybe understand and put my finger on just why it didn't stick with me. My all-time favorite rom-com, though, is My Big Fat Greek Wedding. Yeah, right? Right. I always leave that movie feeling better about love and life, and I believe it should be required viewing. Like those damn your body is changing videos in middle school. You watch Susie get her period, and then you leave with a copy of My Big Fat Greek Wedding, right? I do have to note that I am fully aware of how iconic this film is, and the top two iconic scenes being Andy singing You're So Vain by Carly Simon and The Yellow Dress. Those are not lost.
So many things to talk about with that dress. That's a podcast episode in its own
Yeah.
Oh my God, truly.
Yeah, no, honestly. I got to admit that I kind of dug this film the first time I watched it. I saw it on DVD. No way I was going to let my then girlfriend take me to the theater for this one. And that was a mistake. I enjoyed the banter. I dug the dramatic irony of the audience knowing what each character was up to when the characters themselves were in the dark. And there were several great tentpole moments in the film that I remembered as I sat down to watch this film again. Like The Wedding Planner, I recruited some femininity to aid me in my journey, specifically my wife and her sister, but I didn't think I'd need a buttressing of laughter to help. I was genuinely looking forward to seeing what I had liked about this film from the first time, and if my opinion had changed at all in the intervening years.
As the film opens, we meet Andy Anderson, a writer for the women's magazine Composure, as the subject matter expert for a series of how-to articles. How to get out of a ticket, how to get a better bod in 5 days, how to feng shui your way to a better car, yada yada yada. You know the kind of magazine and the kind of article if you've ever been stuck in a dentist's office and the only selections are tabloids and Cosmo.
I just have to cut in here and say that Kathryn needs to narrate everything.
She's great.
Whoa. Narrate my life, narrate. Okay.
There's a reason I cast her as
Yeah,
Belle Benassi.
makes complete sense.
Can I just say, I forgot how big magazine culture was back in the day.
Right.
I had multiple subscriptions, not to magazines like this, and to the point where, sorry, that was so judgy. You're going to get a lot of that from me. You know that trend, we listen and we don't judge? I don't play that. So I loved magazines ever since I was a kid, and I would have subscriptions and I would have the magazines delivered. And when I first moved to New York, I was a subscriber to New York Magazine until I feel like it kind of fell off the rails. But that was a lovely memory, what magazines and long-form articles gave you, and when you held the thing in your hand. I loved remembering how important that was.
Andy is bored with this routine and wishes to write about more serious topics. Her piece on how to bring peace to Tajikistan. Was that a real place? Is that real? When I read that, I was like, this is like a funny made-up. Okay, you're both looking at me. All right, let's run that back. How to bring peace to Tajikistan will never appear, according to her friend Jeannie. Yeah, no duh. Where does she think she works? You'd think that grad school degree would give her a clue. At least she has a consolation prize. Tickets to Game 1 of the NBA Finals between the New York Knicks and the Sacramento Kings, courtesy of a colleague at ESPN who Andy has been flirting with.
We have now entered Lord of the Rings fantasy territory. The Knicks and the Kings in the finals. It would never happen. But we don't have time for that magical surrealism. Michelle, Andy and Jeannie's colleague and friend, is missing, and there's a staff meeting in 30. No doubt Michelle has ended up in romantic doldrums yet again. Andy, ever the faithful friend, grabs some cosmetic samples to help touch up Michelle's tear-streaked makeup, while Jeannie goes to get them a caffeine fix before they face the big boss. This was a Robert Evans picture. Legendary in both good and bad ways, the producer behind Chinatown, The Godfather, Marathon Man, Urban Cowboy, and too many others to mention as the head of Paramount. This was the last feature he produced. This isn't The Godfather, but it's a hell of a way to go.
Couple of things in the opening. I'm excited by the credits. And then they have their initial meeting. And Bibi Newith, I can't remember what she was saying, but it looked like she wasn't present as the character. She was present as herself, kind of dying behind the eyes, like thinking, just remember the money, remember the money, remember the money. Like, it's a terribly misogynistic, out-of-date approach that I don't think female bosses would have been doing even in that time. And we were pre sort of girl boss territory. But I was just like, oh, I feel like she was sitting there going, I played Lilith, for God's sake. And now I'm saying this. But I have to say, we can like real talk this out as girlfriends, right?
Yeah.
So Kathryn Hahn, they go visit her at home. She's in bed, she's crying, and she's talking about all the things she did to put this guy off. And of course, we are sitting there going, well, no doubt, you crazy chick. But then I sort of sat there and went, oh, God, I wonder what ridiculously insane things I did in the first 10 days of starting a relationship. Mm-hmm. And like, it really did ask me the question. So I did pause it for a minute, sit there, think, and then decided I didn't want to think and carried on watching the film.
Got it.
You always love a film that doesn't make you think.
Absolutely.
I actually really dug the opening. The dialogue is a little heavy-handed in terms of exposition, but there's cutting and editing and magazine-like nature of Andy's intro. I think it works.
Yeah, and you know what? You can see right off the bat why everyone likes Andy. She is every woman. I mean, she's like a really gorgeously, unbelievably beautiful every woman, but she's every woman. You know, we all want to be her, a successful woman with a job, rockin' bod, and living in New York City. You know, we all want to be her friends or be her.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm. NBA Finals. Andy's not like other girls. That being said, the Knicks tickets here are a nice setup. There are lots of nice setups throughout this film. Lots of nice Chekhov's guns, as they're called. Matty McC is in the house. He's weaving in and out of traffic in New York on his Triumph motorcycle. You know he's got taste with a ride like that. Sorry. This is Ben, an ad exec with killer eyes and killerer abs. He meets a rival in his ad firm outside and unsuccessfully flirts with her. This is one of the Judys, Spears. She's researching composure. She and the other Judy, Green, are heading to the magazine's HQ because A, it's the fastest growing magazine in the nation, and B, their clients make gigantic buys. Maybe Ben should try doing a little bit of research himself? Stymied by professionalism, Ben retreats. The exposition, it's coming hot and heavy.
Andy arrives at the apartment of her friend Michelle, which is apparently both close enough to walk to from their offices and cheap enough for a magazine writer to afford. Lord of the Rings level fantasy, people. Michelle has had yet another breakup and has become despondent. But it was the best week of her life. Andy has a cashmere sweater and samples to soothe her pain. And they're back in business.
Look, I would pretty much do anything for a cashmere sweater, so I'm fine with that.
Yes. I actually just got one. It's the best thing I ever bought.
Honestly, you could sleep in it, go run errands
Yes.
in it,
Yes.
look cute out on the town in it.
Yes.
Why don't we know people with spare cashmere sweaters?
Talk to Ed Wood.
Wait, who's Ed Wood? You just said a name. What? Oh, man, you're both looking at me. Maybe, what the heck?
That's coming in another episode of this podcast. Ben and his advertising colleagues, Tony and Thea, meet up in the offices. Ben's hunch about Delora Diamonds paid off. They're looking for a new agency, and his agency might just be that agency. Ben celebrates by taking off his shirt. Not sad about that. No.
Do it again.
Now look,
Maybe.
I am a McConaughey fan, and I am mostly a all right McConaughey fan. But I will go back and watch these movies if he takes off more of his clothes.
This is prime McConaughey.
Oh,
Yes.
prime
I want to try
meat.
that.
Ladies.
Oh my God, if he takes off his shirt and then gets on the bike.
Why didn't they do that?
Because they're idiots.
Literally.
Yes, dude. Anyway, back to the plot. I'm sorry, but I would watch a whole movie called McConaughey without his clothes on a motorbike.
Yep.
Sorry, still.
And the sequel. Okay, continue.
The objectification in this room makes me sick.
Oh, get over it. It's our turn to objectify now, right?
Bam! Exactly.
Well, and look, if you've got abs like that, you have the right to show them off. And he gives a very nice speech about diamonds that we all know to be true.
Guys, did you know that diamonds are about as common as taxis on Fifth Avenue? The value is entirely sentimental, maintained by supply, demand, and advertising.
What a romantic. The only problem? The Judys, Spears and Green, already have won the account from the big boss, Philip Warren. Ben won't take this lying down. He's going to ambush Warren, cut out the Judys, and take this payday home. This I'm sad about.
Me
Because
too.
my girls have busted ass.
Absolutely.
It's still early 2000s and we are pre-girl bossing it, right? So they did their
Yes.
job. They convinced their very nice boss
Yep.
who listened to them as equals, right? Because that's who Philip Warren is in this.
Yep.
And then he's like, I'm going to take this business away from you. And yet all the women
What?
love me. If I was one of those Judys, I would have slapped him.
Pissed. Angry,
Mhm.
mad, and you know what? I wasn't upset when I know we're not there yet, but when they sabotaged him in the end, at that
What goes
gala,
around comes around,
you
boo-boo.
know what? You know what? Yes.
This is honestly the biggest problem, the biggest flaw I have with this film, that Matty McC kind of slides his way through life
Yeah.
and just kind of gets whatever he wants despite some really messed up behavior on his part.
That's because of those abs. That's
Yeah.
what happens.
You're right.
Look,
It's a get out of jail free card when you got abs like that.
blinded by the abs, grabbed up like a deuce, you know, a room in the night. Sorry. A lot of cutting back and forth here. I'm not sure that I dig it. That we're going back and forth between Andy and Ben. I do understand that you've got to set them both up, but it was a little heavy-handed. Kathryn Hahn is here, however. She's over the top, but it kind of works in the contrast to the more restrained Kate Hudson and Matty McC, if that word can be used to describe those two.
I wrote, when Matthew McConaughey is on the screen, you can give me all the exposition you want. I don't care. This is the one bone I have to pick. These movies made living in New York look so fun and easy. I've never seen an apartment with wallpaper. Michelle's apartment having wallpaper, I was like, the most you get is the landlord special. And if you're lucky, exposed brick on one wall. So that was crazy. And I'm really upset that they did that because this is what I thought like New York was. I was like, look at this beautiful apartment for one person. No, you got 3 roommates. Sometimes 4.
Lord of the
That's
Rings
point.
level fantasy.
You're exactly
Look,
right.
before
We're
I
back to it.
moved here, I accepted a lot of the stuff I saw. Now I Google people's addresses. So when she said she gets in a car later and she's like, she gives the address, I'm like, I pressed pause and I Googled it. And I'm like, girl, on that salary, you are not living there. Let me tell you that now. Not 20 years ago, not this week either.
Yeah.
Can I just say, I love the Judys and I love Tony and Thea.
They're great. They're great.
Like as sidekicks, they're thorough. Thorough. And then when you like Google, you realize, oh my God, it's him and he's had a great career.
Yeah, I love the banter between Tony and Thayer here. Tony owes Ben some money and has to borrow it from Thayer to pay. Back and forth about slang. There's a lot of subtle interplay here and throughout the film with the supporting actors. Without it, this film could be very one note, but it adds levels of laity and complexity that keep things interesting.
Yeah, this was Kathryn Hahn's first major film. And
Really? I didn't know
yeah,
that.
the whole thing about her like audition process and how she was so nervous and her phone went off. There's some interviews about that. So yeah, it's very. This is
And look at her now, because Ursula.
I'm so happy for her. And so seeing, I don't want to say baby, but like, baby Kathryn Hahn, I was just like, go Kathryn Hahn! I fell in love with her in Step Brothers. I know that's like silly.
But I love Step Brothers.
Right? She's insane in that. Like insane in a good way. You know what I'm saying? Insanely good. So she gets to she starts spreading her comedy wings here. You sort of see that. And it's really exciting to see.
Are either of you two guilty of Michelle's sins here, or will I get a pleading of the Fifth Amendment? I know we kind of chatted about this, all the problems that she elucidated about.
Well, look, I paused to think about it, didn't like the way my thoughts were going, and carried on watching the picture.
I think growing up with films like this sort of like set me up for success in a way. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? You're like, oh, don't do that because that's bad. So I don't want to say
these were after school PSAs.
Yeah, pretty much. So yeah, I mean, like I'd say no. I'm guilt free. I've got nothing to say.
You see, I grew up watching the Goonies, and I have to say, I'm trying to solve crimes and find pirate ships, but. Sidebar, like I really thought there would be more quicksand in my life.
Yes.
And more pirates.
Absolutely.
And definitely treasure maps. So I want to say over probably mediocre coffee, we learned that heartbreak always finds Michelle. For a week and a half, it's perfect. Isn't that just the life? Isn't that just it, right? Then it ends. Michelle and her beau Mike had a connection. She even cried after their first sexual encounter. Girl, that's awkward. Let's not do that. And told him that she loved him after 2 days. Okay, also no. Okay, I have not done any of that. Mike didn't say anything, but then he kept getting busy. So Michelle started calling him, only to hit the answering machine. The 20th century's worst fate for the single woman. Michelle says that it must be because she's too fat. Now, I want to get serious for a second.
Yes.
At this time is where we have Christina Aguilera and Britney Spears at the height of their fame. And they're performing at the VMAs. And I think it's a particular moment is when Britney's with a snake. And the next day in tabloids in the US and the UK, she's called fat.
Wait, what?
And this was huge issue.
You remember Kate Winslet was called fat in Titanic in 97.
No way.
It's shocking. Even then, I was like, WTF, mate. Like, I don't. No, it's absurd.
It's actually something that they're reviewing now, that sort of lower end of the scale Gen Xers and elder millennials, we have such intrinsic body dysmorphic issues that we don't even notice within ourselves because of what we were consistently seeing. So there's a few fat jokes in this, which looking back, you can say, oh, that's how people spoke at the time. But when this film was out, we would have just accepted it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you remember, Liz, answering machines?
No, I never had one. I didn't even have a home phone. Like
what?
Yeah, like my parents just like had cell phones.
It would be awful because now if you're leaving a voicemail, you can hit delete and start again. But if you recorded a message and you said something dumb, it lived
forever
in the world.
Is that why there was always like there's that trope of like people leave like 10 voicemails and they're like,
it's like the episode of Friends. It's so that episode of Friends where Monica keeps leaving messages and messages and messages is so true. Andy quite rightly says Michelle is being ridiculous, that any woman would be dumped with the way she's acting. Absolutely 150% true. I'd dump you as a friend, never mind a girlfriend, right? Michelle argues back, not Andy, she's too beautiful. Cue the plot. Please be ready for entrance, stage right.
Michelle, Jeannie, and Andy all arrive with the rest of the team for their meeting with the boss, Lana. No shoes on, all good vibes. Let's hear the pitches. One colleague, Lori, leads with stories about Botox, gynecologists, and deadly pedicures. All worrying, but surprisingly upbeat. Next up is Andy. She pitches her political story, and stop right there. This is not the composure way.
We move on to Michelle, who's got nothing. She got dumped, remember? But Andy, ever the faithful friend, leaps in to help. Andy's considering using Michelle's story about her breakup. Michelle can't use her personal life for a story. But Andy has no compunction. She's how-to Andy. She's going to use every classic wrong maneuver when trying to work up a guy and show how you can lose a guy in 10 days. We have a title. Wait, why in 10 days? 5 days is too short. And in 11, we go to press.
This film is doing yeoman's work, making Andy a likable character. She's got ambition, but it's misplaced at this magazine. She's exploiting her friend's story, but she's also saving her friend from being exploited by putting herself on the firing line. There are tropes at play here, of course. It's a rom-com, but I'm digging the ride so far.
Bebe Newworth delivering the line, "How to lose a guy in 10 days" is everything. She is, I love and I hate her. She's my Miranda Priestley light. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh, just eat it up, Bebe. I love you.
Home run there. I like the fish business here. For those unaware, fish business is a film term for action that's already taking place at the beginning of a picture. The DeLauer Diamond account is already in Ben's agency's hands. Andy is already a successful columnist. The Judys are already planning a meeting with Composure and Andy's boss. We don't spend almost any time setting things up, which is good because the exposition could almost strangle this film with how heavy-handed it is. We Go to Print in 11 is a great example of subtle placement. It's a gag, but it sets the stakes for later in the movie. When Andy starts worrying about when she's falling in love, the movie reminds her that you don't have time. We have to go to press. It seems simple, but many films misstep by forgetting to seed the first act with this kind of detail. The Judys arrive at Composure and meet with Lana, the team, and, importantly for the plot, which is in gear and revving up, Andy, who is now making a plan with Jeannie and Michelle. They have to find some poor sucker to use as their guinea pig for every bad habit and dark urge under the sun.
Ben has his own scheme. He ambushes the Judys and his boss, Philip, trying to cut his colleagues out of their pitch for the DeLauer Diamond account. Ben gives his pitch. It's about women first. It's about their desires, not as a gift from a man, but as a personal expression of themselves. Well, honey, if that was true, you would have let the Judys do their thing. But then, there'd be no movie, and that's why I don't write plots. The Judys aren't buying it. That's right, girls. And Philip seems on the fence. Ben's a hunk, but he doesn't seem to know the first thing about what women actually want. That's an entire different movie, even. Philip questions whether Ben has enough insight into the romance typically associated with diamonds. In response, Ben wagers he can make any woman fall in love with him. Philip is game, just like a man. I know, Liz's eyes just rolled back so far in her head, they may stay there for the next 30 minutes. If Ben can achieve such a feat before the company ball in 10 days, wow, what a coincidence. You couldn't make that up, except somebody did. He will allow him to lead the Diamond campaign.
Just then, Andy, Michelle, and Jeannie show up. Ben's rivals, Spears and Green, were at the Composure magazine offices earlier in the day and know about Andy's How to Lose a Guy in... how many days was it again?
10.
Yes, that project. Seeing Andy at the bar, they suggest her as the woman Ben can romance, and he agrees, unaware of her project. This is a windfall for Andy, as she's been striking out with the men at the bar. It must be so hard, being impossibly beautiful, assertive, and secure in New York. No, really. Dating in this town sucks.
Dating in this town sucks.
I just don't believe in dating in this town.
Okay, it is such a man thing, especially like 2,000 men, taking an opportunity away from two very accomplished and intelligent women over a bet.
Are we seeing the origin of Barstool Sports in this moment? Literally, right? I'm seeing a podcast being born in its infancy. I love the Judys. They could have been portrayed as dumb, and they're not. And I think it's the hands of the actor and the director as well, because I don't think the script gives them much. They could have been portrayed as dumb. They're incredibly competent. There's a generosity that the actresses managed to give. And again, like in anybody else's hands, Bebe Newworth's character would have just gone down the toilet.
Right.
So it really is a testament to the talent on the screen that this dumb scene really works.
Yeah, their tete-a-tete with Ben, it shows their skills, their salesmanship. It's great world building and agency here too.
To me, it feels like, these two are made for each other, which, they are, duh, it's a rom-com, lol. They get to use one another, and then it's all good. Granted, this is the story you want to see. What happens when two unbelievably attractive people run romantic hijinks on one another? Will there be sparks? Short answer, yes.
Yeah, having Andy show up and the Judys recognize her here is a big coincidence, but it creates drama and it moves the story forward. I'm okay. Even for me, Matty McC is a little over-the-top macho here, but he's shockingly handsome and smooth. The fact that he's about to get his comeuppance also smooths over some of the rough edges.
Andy is striking out in her search for the perfect man for her quest, but little does she know that Ben has set a trap. He arrives with a game right out of the game, going into a little word association, single word banter. Cute. They head out to dinner. hand on her bare back, out the door. Pretty bold. Ben gets her to get on his motorcycle, reluctantly. She's probably the only person who could pull off that goofy helmet. Ready to go for a ride, Ben asks. The filmmaker is about as subtle as a priest at a Cub Scout jamboree. What the hell?
Liz, Steele?
Steele! What
Oh
the
my
hell?
goodness.
Oh my god. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Ben and Andy go out for lobsters and a Q&A. He's in advertising, trying to break into diamonds. She's got a master's in journalism and is reasonably protective of her accomplishments at composure, despite not yet finding her true passion. They're surprisingly honest with each other, and then comes the big question. True or false? All is fair in love and war. Indeed it is. And with those fatal words of destiny, the two return to Matty McC's apartment.
Before we leave the lobster restaurant, I just want to say a couple things. Every time I've seen this scene, I've wanted to eat lobster. But who has that kind of lobster money in New York?
First of all, I've been trying to find, you know what I'm saying? I want to go have a seafood boil. I've been thinking about this for a long time. And it's so $60? $60 for an all-you-can-eat. And it's not even here. It's in Astoria. What the hell? Also, seafood on a first date? Are y'all crazy?
Yeah, that's
Are y'all
weird.
crazy?
I'm not sure why they chose this restaurant.
I don't know. Once again, I think, he's got money, I guess.
But also,
or
like, his hands
aspirational.
being kind of, like, dirty and, like, the apron, like, the lobster apron on his, like, I don't know.
I don't think eating lobster is sexy.
I
mean, there
don't
are
know.
sexy
I've
food
got a
scenes.
thing.
Sucking meat out of the claw. It's actually not erotic. It's just you got butter all. No, it's not good.
I think the people of Maine would disagree with you, but Steele agrees with you.
But I absolutely did enjoy this scene.
Yeah.
This is these two actors in their pocket. They are relaxed. They're free flowing. There's probably, and we know that there's improvisation on and off throughout this film. I think that they're probably both playing a little bit in each take. They have a natural chemistry. And I was listening to Kate Hudson talking about how and why they chose Matthew McConaughey. And it's because they just clicked from moment one. They could be themselves with each other. And this scene shows that. It's engaging. I'm drawn into the camera.
Absolutely.
I thoroughly enjoyed the lobster scene. I do want to eat lobster, but never, ever on a first date.
I will say, I think Matthew McConaughey can have, chemistry with a paper bag.
Maybe, what if he took his shirt off and then ate lobster?
Hey!
Still, you're just going to have to deal with this for the rest of this conversation.
I brought this on myself. I
You
chose
really
this
did.
film.
Mm-hmm. If you're expecting a bachelor pad, you're not going to be entirely disappointed. It's small, New York, but decently well appointed. Andy does some recon in Ben's medicine cabinet. Have you two ever done that?
No, I'm so afraid to do
No,
that. I would
absolutely
never. That's
not.
like such a invasion.
When I was a kid, I had to go to some meeting at a friend's house, and I don't know why, I vaguely remember opening the medicine cabinet. Maybe I was being nosy, and then a bottle of cologne fell out and broke everywhere, and then I stank of it. I think I learned my lesson at the age of 12. Mind your business. Ben, meanwhile, has this whole wooing thing down pat. Alcohol? Check. Candles? Check. Nelly? But then he thinks better of it. Good. R&B? This is long-term. 10 days is long-term for our Benny. But not Andy. She wants a fast pass into Ben's roller coaster ride. She wants to sleep with him. Maybe. He doesn't want to sleep with her. Maybe. Let's not move too fast, they both say. Andy leaves, purposely forgetting her purse, and as they stare at each other from the street and the apartment, one can almost feel sorry for Ben. Seriously, Nelly, would either of you put out on a first date if that's what you came out and heard?
I was should I be really honest?
Yeah, sure.
I would never put out on a first date ever. That's all I gotta say about that.
No comment.
Well, look, even if I was thinking about it, if I come out and Nelly's playing, whether it's the year the song came out or even now, I'd be like, hell no.
I usually hate the meet cute in a rom-com, but I dig how Andy and Ben come together here. It's nice that they get along great, and it's not dragged out or antagonistic. Let's get this movie into high gear.
It feels so real too. I wish it would actually happen though. Maybe it's just I'm in the wrong places.
You're the one who said that there's nothing romantic in New York.
Okay, but listen, but where do you actually meet people besides the bar? Anyone know? Anyone have those third places?
Who has bar money these days?
You're exactly correct.
I drink at home.
You pregame, then you go, and hopefully some guys are like, hey, pretty lady, let me buy you a drink. Not like that per se, but like, that's like the fastest way I could get to getting the point across.
You're hanging out in the wrong places. You got to
Okay,
go
that's
to Columbia University. You got to go to NYU, particularly NYU.
Oh, God.
You got to go to Hunter. You got to go to Pace. You got to go to Brooklyn College.
Hang on. That's because she's meeting people of her age.
Yes, exactly.
If I went down to Columbia University,
Okay.
they'd probably say, who's the creepy old lady in the corner and why is she staring at us?
Go to the professor bars.
Oh, the
Oh,
professor
go
bars.
For my narrative buffs out there, all two of you, this film was a
And that's not me or Liz. we're still on the shirt on, shirt off, shirt on,
We're
shirt
ab
off.
buffs. We're buffs.
This film is a great example of dramatic irony. That is, when the audience knows more about a situation than the characters. Rewatching this scene, I was struck by the number of small jokes, choices, and elements that speak to both characters' desires for each other and something more, something that they couldn't voice to each other.
But I like that they give space for this to be an adult conversation because it's a valid question for both men and women to ask whether you're in a straight or gay relationship. Do I want this to happen right now? And you do have to think it through. You like endgame yourself, but you have to endgame it so quick in the moment to decide whether I'm staying or I'm leaving.
Yeah, your body is telling you to do one thing, your mind is telling you to do one thing.
I think that's an R. Kelly song and we don't go there anymore.
Oh
my
There are jokes I could make, but I would probably be cancelled.
Moving swiftly on. Andy has her plan for Ben. Get him to fall in and out of love in 10 days. Child's play for a queen like her and a meatball like him. Ben has already ensnared himself into her machinations, talking with Tony and Thea about what to do in regards to Andy's forgotten, I'm doing air quotes here, purse. He does have some standards. He refuses to look into her purse, so he understands the code, right? Also, this is a marathon, not a sprint. 10 days is a marathon? It can be. There are races that last that long. For a Lothario like Ben, it is. Tony, the clod, has no such compunction and spills, I love this moment, this is a great moment, Andy's purse, revealing the tickets to the opening game of the NBA Finals. Oh, you don't know bait when you see it. Our Andy is a pro. Can we discuss purses for a minute?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So this is a period of time where the statement purse was having its big thing, and we've never really left. What the statement has changed. So we're in the tiny purse era. Do you remember that? No, I was going to say you were like one. So
That's
no.
okay.
Do you remember tiny purse era?
I do remember the tiny purse
era is back.
I know, and it's really
Yeah.
annoying because I can barely fit my phone in it.
So much of this was reflected in Sex and the City. Because
Yes.
This was happening at the same time. And,
100%.
This was a cultural conversation that was going on in media back and forth between that show, between romantic comedies like this, on talk shows, in the aforementioned magazines that we're reading. It's very much a statement piece. Cultural, political, socioeconomic, there's a lot going on.
And the wardrobe department on this show excels itself, I think.
Absolutely.
Everybody is dressed appropriate for who they are in this world and who they're trying to communicate themselves to be. And the purse is always that. The tiny purse is perfect. And also the Judy's purses later on. And those actresses know how to work them like props, not accessories.
Shalom's a model.
Well, she knows that girl can walk. That girl can walk. So I really enjoyed the retrospective review of early 2000s handbags. It was good.
That is honestly such a small niche thing, but you just, wow. I'm so glad you pointed that out.
I have a closet just for handbags and shoes.
That's incredible.
You're welcome to come round and play.
In New York, you have a... What?
Pre-war apartment.
Oh, yeah.
Damn.
And I was like, and it's walk-in.
Oh my God. Okay, Carrie.
Do you want to know what else is in there?
What?
A fur coat.
Carrie Bradshaw.
No, Carrie's not in there.
Oh.
I mean, I was going to say a body, so,
Well, there's room.
Meanwhile, Andy, Jeannie, and Michelle are discussing the plans. Andy's confident in her abilities to woo, then break Ben. Just at that moment, a load of flowers arrive for her with a charming note. He's an ad man, after all. Ben's found the Knicks tickets. To quote Dave Chappelle, "Gotcha, Ben." Andy and Ben talk on the phone, calling out each other on their BS. Him for going through her purse, her for tempting him to do so. Well, it looks like they've got a date, huh? As Andy says, that's how it's done.
We're at the world's most famous arena.
The Coliseum.
No,
The Sphere in Las Vegas.
Madison Square Garden. We're at Madison Square Garden. They're at Madison Square Garden for Game 1 of the NBA Finals. Andy and Ben appear on the kiss cam and are having a blast. It's no wonder. They both have a very similar vibe and love hoops. Still, Andy has an article to write, so she pulls out all the stops to annoy Ben. The game is almost over, so she sends him out to get a soda, which takes forever, then asks for another when it turns out to be diet. Ben misses the last shot of the game. Ben manages to keep it together. He wants that account so badly. Before sending Andy off into the night in a cab. And this is just the beginning.
So smart, Andy. Well played at the Knicks game, but so ruthless. Ruthless.
I would have left and never seen that human again.
Yeah? Oh my God.
It's something that kind of toys with me throughout this film. They're both trying really hard to get at each other in their respective ways. And I don't know what Andy sees in Ben. He seems like such a pushover in this.
Girl, who knows?
With all those abs, how is he so
we
spineless?
Know. The hair. Him in literally a t-shirt and jeans, that goes crazy.
The purse scene had my wife and sister-in-law locked in battle. Here's one direct quote. Quote, I was taught from a young age not to go through a woman's purse. It's just something that everybody knew. Unquote. Is this universal?
Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
What?
You only looking another woman's purse by invitation.
Absolutely.
Like if they ask you to grab something,
Absolutely.
and the common thing is, do you have a tampon? Yes, help yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't rummage. If you see something and you're curious, you mind your business.
Absolutely.
Yeah, 110%. Keep your nose and fingers out of my handbags.
Mm-hmm. Keep your filthy paws off my silky drawers.
Yes.
Exactly, right? Rizzo said it best.
Those tickets are essentially on the floor for the NBA Finals. They'd be thousands of dollars, even. I do feel bad for the guy who got Andy those tickets and who Andy kind of jilted. To quote my sister-in-law, however, quote, not me, f*** him. He didn't follow up, bye. She's single, BT dubs, unquote. Well, as the film states, all is fair in love and war.
Do you guys believe that?
To a degree.
Okay.
I think in matters of the heart, we sometimes do and say things that our intellectual minds would look back on and be like, I don't know. But there is a line.
Yeah.
If someone was a dick to me and I ended up with sports tickets in my hands, bye, I'm off. I'm off to wherever I'm going to see whatever sport it is. I would even use those tickets for a sport I wasn't interested to just out of spite.
Spite is a powerful motivating factor.
Oh, and I'm petty too.
Yeah. Kate Hudson is very funny here, and all of her jokes are landing for me. And by this point, I am starting to really see the appeal of the film, why people love it so much. They really did a beautiful job capturing a certain era of time. It's one we can be close to, but we're also so far away from.
The concession stands are still open at the end of the game, and there's no line for a cab outside of MSG. Once again, this is Lord of the Rings level Fantasyland.
I wonder if her ex was Spike Lee, because he's the only person that him and Jack Nicholson, right, have those tickets.
The next day, Warren Phillips is reaming out everybody at this company. Their work is not up to par. Ben himself isn't spared. The agency's receptionist with classic New York accent interrupts to tell Ben that Andy's calling. Sure, it's not like he's working or anything. Ben fights his way through it, and they go out on their second date, a screening of Sleepless in Seattle. Andy's ratcheting up the annoyance factor, talking the entire time, even pulling the whole jealousy angle. Who is she? The girl you're thinking about. Worse still, Andy gives him a nickname, Benji, and antagonizes the man behind them in the seats. Ben wants to talk it out with this hulking but sensitive man, but the brute knocks Ben out cold with a single punch before tearfully returning to the film. At least Ben gets to rub his wounded face on Andy's chest.
Andy's plans aren't working. She's going to have to pull out the big guns because Ben is inviting her over for a pull out all the stops meal. Lamb with a cherry glaze. As he's prepping, Andy festoons his masculine space with a feminine touch. Pink blankets, stuffies, gangs all here with girly CDs. Ben is horrified and slack-jawed, but still with his damn shirt on, when his romantic culinary skills are thwarted by Andy, who pretends she doesn't eat meat. Mary had a little lamb. I would have eaten that dinner.
No, I would have eaten that dinner. It looked so good.
That's not the only thing you two would eat.
Oh my god!
Oh my God, Theo! We can say it, you can't.
Ben was set to watch Game 2 of the finals with Andy, but they missed the game to salvage their dinner at a vegan place for smoothies. The smoothies are a great touch. The clientele and server are about what you'd expect from a film of this era, and Andy plays it up by claiming Ben thinks she's fat. Crying and sneaking away to watch the end of the Knicks game in the kitchen, she goes full-on silly sex kitten at home to cover up for a near flub that almost broke her character, but Ben stops her. It's not hard when she's asking him to name his manhood, settling on Kroll, Warrior King. Andy thinks she's won, and she gives him their love fern to take care of, but Ben forces himself to ask Andy out yet again.
This is chemistry. J-Lo and Matty McC.
Hey, don't stop it.
Get out of here. Give me more of this. I love all the small touches throughout this segment, too. The look the server gives Matty McC is hilarious. Matty McC salting.
That's amazing.
So
that
funny.
shows how he's already starting to become the actor we know him to be now.
Absolutely.
He knows that the nuances are in the little things.
Yeah, and he's chatting with the cooks as they're watching the game. It's really great. A lot of small touches that sell this scene. You're so vain? Perfect. Buying a plant? Perfect. Embedding yourself in your partner's life too early? Perfect. I love everything about this stretch of film, and it only gets better. I love reminiscing about this era in humanity, the days before ubiquitous internet access, unable to check out your date's history, asking waitress about Knicks game scores, etc.
I've even forgotten about that. Like, football is my game. Actual football, with you play with your feet, not with your hands. And if you were out when you were younger, and if your mum made you go and run errands on a Saturday, and really what you wanted to be doing was watching the football, you would ask people in the shops, or even like random people walking down the street, do you know what the score is? Or you duck into a pub and have a look on the screen. I forgot, not everything used to live in your pocket.
Wow, what a time. Sorry, y'all.
About to say before your time.
Way before my time. I've never asked anybody that. Back at the office, Ben, Tony, and Thayer are working on their diamond campaign. Glitter is an underrated movie, says one of them. Hard disagree. Counting your eggs much? Even Ben admits he's in over his head. Andy has turned evil, as she shows by showing up randomly with a chihuahua, Chinese crested, in her purse, calling Ben Benny Wenny and giving him a plaid shirt like the inside of a raincoat.
I love that line. That is so clever on every level. Burberry was co-opted by, do you guys know what a chav is?
Oh, yeah. You explained it to her.
Okay, so a chav, a chav is a slang nickname term that you would give somebody who would be working class, say in this country, potentially who lived in the projects as well, but who wears either actual high-end products or fake copies of them. So the version of that in England we call a chav is somebody that would walk around with a lot of Burberry on. Oh. So they were already kind of challenging the brand's status. And this one throwaway line is so acerbic. It takes Burberry from up here and brings it all the way to the ground. As a British person, I found it hilarious.
Andy has turned evil, as she shows by showing up randomly with a chihuahua, Chinese crested, in her purse, calling Ben Benny Wenny and giving him a plaid shirt like the inside of a raincoat to match the coat of Kroll. Kroll? Yeah, that's the dog's name. She's overly amorous and Kroll urinates on the pool table. How much abuse can Ben take?
But Ben gets an idea from the frosting of sparkles on Kroll's collar. I mean, they took a giant spoon and fed it to us. That's it. The break for the ad campaign. He pitches it. Frost yourself. He's on to something. But his sanity is soon to take further hits. He arrives home to find 17 messages on his machine. Liz, it was a thing that happened. Each one is more and more unhinged. Andy herself shows up and pulls out all the stops with a photo album entitled Our Family's Album, with badly cropped photos of herself, Ben, and their future children. There's a wedding. There's some great, awful photoshopping.
Ben gets tagged out thanks to a call from his mother, but it's for Andy. She's already inserted herself into his family? Love you too, Andy says even, as she needed to get baby photos for her boo. Their dog is peeing again, and when Ben goes to clean up, he discovers Andy's claim stakes in the bathroom, Vagisil, and a big toothbrush. This is too much, even for him. He tries to weasel out of the night, but Andy says she's got tickets to the big show, the Knicks. Nope, Celine Dion. They even have matching shirts as they exit the MSG Theater among the throngs of Knicks fans who have just gotten out of the game.
I will hear him, I can't do it, but I will hear him say, "Frost yourself."
Yeah.
Little heavy-handed with the exposition regarding Poker, his mother, the frosting, but there's payoff, so I'm good with it.
I think Ben is getting what he deserves. You know, when he's like, "Oh wait, we're going somewhere tonight. Oh, you know what, baby, it's all good. Like, I'm sorry." I was like, "Yeah, Ben, you better go to that Celine Dion concert because F you deserve that." Anyway, that's all I have to say about that. I'm really enjoying the ride here. We're having lots of fun, lots of shenanigans, lots of hijinks. Again, Kate Hudson, hilarious. I love everything she's doing here. Do you all agree?
Agreed.
For the most part, yes.
Oh, for the most part, where's that coming from?
Well, I mean, we can segue for a moment. I think she's a good actress, but I do think she often holds back. She has much more comic ability than she ever allows herself to fully let go of on screen.
Later on, when she's showing up at the poker night, almost all of that is improvised, and that's when she sings, when she's like letting go, doing the full Monty on this. And when she's more restrained, I kind of agree with you. I still think she sells it. I think she can take it to the next level.
It's just, yeah, and there's another bit in the film where she pulls her face and she rolls her eyes, and I'm like, that's the Kate Hudson I thoroughly enjoy. Her mom is never restrained on screen and is so incredible and has this ability to just be in front of a camera and suck you in, even when she's playing Mrs. Santa Claus. But with Kate, who has that inner glow and radiation, I feel like she just controls herself a bit much. And I'm like, when you let go, you are as gifted as your mother and entirely different. And I'm sure that's part of it, right? She's in the shadow of a pioneering actress, but you are talented in your own right, so show us more.
At this point in the film, I'm kind of wondering if anyone would want a guy who's this much of a pushover, but maybe. Once again, abs.
Yes.
Abs.
Mm-hmm.
You'd think Andy would be thrilled, but she's not. Ben still seems madly in love with her. Andy hosts a meeting with her friends as they sun themselves on the roof. They have some great ideas, bringing up ex-boyfriends being a big one, but no. Andy has an ace up her sleeve, almost literally, as it's poker night for Ben and his boys. It's supposed to be a dudes-only zone, but what better way to get a guy to break up with you than to crash guys' night?
Ben, Tony Thayer, and other friends are chomping on some stogies and playing dollar poker, though the game they're playing is confusingly referenced throughout the scene. Whatever. Andy arrives and introduces herself. A nice touch. She's given herself a key to the apartment. It's a hurricane. Andy takes away the pizza and gives the boys healthy snacks. She forces the men to put out their cigars. She peeks and talks about the cards in their hands. She makes Ben blow his nose. His boys can barely hold it together. The cherry on the cake? Their love fern is dead. Are you gonna let us die? Andy wails. She throws a fit and takes the love fern with her as she exits. Ben dumps her, keeping Kroll for himself. He can't handle it anymore.
Or can he? Because Tony and Thayer remind Ben of the wager with Phillips. Thayer even has a recommendation. Couples therapy. It's helped him and his wife. It's only 4 more days. He can handle it. Think of the diamonds. Ben rushes down the fire escape to confront Andy and beg for another chance. She rightly says to get up and asks, hasn't he had enough? Fine. Andy schedules an emergency session for the 2 of them. Says, I love you, Benny, but I don't have to like you right now. And leaves. I enjoyed the work done by everybody else around the table in this scene.
Oh my God.
In part because they were allowed to play, so the reactions are genuine. The blowing the nose thing is like, they thought of the most obnoxious thing a woman could do to an adult man and went for it. And McConaughey goes with it, and you can tell he's reacting. And I watched an interview, I think it was shot during the pandemic. They were talking to each other for E! Tonight, or whatever that program's called. And at one point, they had started to rub each other up the wrong way. And I think it must be around getting to this point in the story where Kate is going for it. and Matthew is feeling it as himself rather than the character, or everything's getting conflated. So the tension and the way that you think they can never pull this back, like she's gone as far as any woman might, you can see it happening in this scene. And I very much enjoy the poker buddies. There's one actor who he's covering his face and they kept it in, and I love that because he is dying inside.
I love Tony. He's like, yeah, nobody likes sniffles.
No, and like again,
Yeah,
and
they're, like,
he's
egging him
playing
on.
it
It's
dead
amazing.
straight. That's like trying
Yeah.
to knock Corpse on SNL. He did very, very well.
As a cigar smoker, there's no way they would be smoking that many cigars inside a New York apartment. Zero. Lord of the Rings level fantasy.
Yeah, I felt nauseous just watching this scene.
The scene on the street after Ben's race down the fire escape has way too much Vaseline on the lens. Yeah.
The Vaseline on the lens, no, I'm going to say the one that has the worst one is the yellow dress reveal.
Yes.
You know, I was
Yes.
like,
I'm gonna bring that
we're
up too.
fuzzy, we're so we'll bring that up. Yeah, I'm sorry. Run it back.
No, we talked about this in The Wedding Planner.
Yes.
Where there's
That
a
fuzzy
certain,
look.
Yeah, that kind of softness.
But I like that, but not too much.
Right. Too much, and it comes across so soft. I actually find it's a very well shot and well edited film. So these two shots, these two segments, they kind of stand out to me.
Ben's got a plan to one-up Andy and dig deep at their therapy session. Unfortunately for him, Andy is one move ahead. Their therapist is actually Michelle in disguise. I mean, it's literally Kathryn Hahn with a pair of giant Nana Muscuri glasses on. Liz, if you ask me who Nana Muscuri is,
I should leave.
your favorite film is My Big Fat Greek Wedding.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, wait. Okay, but I should know this then. So then what's...
She's a Greek singer from back in the day. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
Michelle charges Ben $300 in 2003 or even 2003. Whichever way you say it, that's a lot of casheroony. And Andy lays into him. They haven't had sex. This is where we learn that. Yeah.
Right.
Like, I kind of assumed they probably had at this point.
no.
But I actually love that they haven't. They haven't had sex because Ben has a problem downstairs. She called it Krull. And then brought in the world's smallest unattractive dog and gave it the same name. It's genius. He's got latent anger issues. He's maybe attracted to men. Yeah, this doesn't sit well with me. At all.
Even by the demanding standards of the time.
Oh my God, no,
This
we're not
is
doing that.
Remarkably problematic.
We're not gay shaming people. We're not doing it then, now, or ever. Thank you. Anger issues. Unfortunately for Andy, just when Ben seems like he's going to crack, Michelle goes too far and suggests a trip to see Ben's family. Looks like this duo is hitting the road. She's brilliant in this moment. Kathryn Hahn, I'm talking about here. Casting directors would have seen this and gone, I need to find something for her. This is what gave a good casting director the idea. There is much more to this woman, which we are now all enjoying.
Kathryn Hahn is great in her scene as the therapist, underplaying her role when she was so broad before. Small choices are often way more powerful than big ones, folks.
Mm-hmm.
I also think Kate Hudson is doing great work here, too. She is pulling out the subtlety, particularly when Matty McC is not looking at her. She's giving Kathryn Hahn these signals, and she's going back and forth. And yeah, okay, they're going to take a lot of takes and find the best one, but she's doing really, really good work here.
But that's your actor's job. You need to be, it's a small scene. It's a very important scene. Give the director 4 or 5 different options, and then you might even just cut them all together. But the final moment where Kathryn Hahn goes, I'm sorry, and pulls the face, it's just wonderful. It's just wonderful.
Yes.
We get to meet Ben's whole nuclear family in that most romantic of spots, Staten Island. And it triggers Andy's maternal instincts. Uncle Arnold, mother, father, Joey, the kids. Andy's act falls apart because they're so loving and wholesome. She's dragged into playing the card game bullshit out back, of which Ben is a master because he's a, quote, human lie detector, unquote. Sure. But Ben's family tips off Andy, allowing her to trounce him. She's having fun and he sees it. They begin to actually fall in love. The whole family wants her back. She's the first girl he's ever brought back home. And Andy is admonished not to break his heart.
Could not love this scene anymore if I tried. And I'm really annoyed with myself about how thoroughly I enjoyed this scene because it's full of cliches and tropes. It's Staten Island, so we have the military and we have the police all sitting around the table, and the brother has the wife with the babies. I mean, and then there's got to be a loopy elderly member of the family. It could have been anybody, an uncle, a grandpa, grandma. They settled on what they did. But the whole bloody thing works. And I sat there smiling and I went, oh, I like this. Damn it. And I think it's because it reminds us of all those great family moments we've all had that are maybe when we were kids, maybe it's the holidays, but those moments where you don't plan them, they just evolve and it's just joyful. And it makes Staten Island look really nice.
It does make Staten Island look great.
And I've been many times and it's not like that.
There are spots of it that are nice, but it is the least of the boroughs, yes.
I've never been.
Good grief. The other thing is I'm grateful that we eventually got an explanation as to why Pete Davidson doesn't have a Texan accent.
Right.
Because the whole time I'm thinking people from Staten Island should be talking, I do declare, but I heard Pete Davidson and Colin Joust talk, and they ain't talk like this.
Matty McC himself, speaking of him, he's good in this movie. He's great in this scene. He does a really good job.
It's beautiful.
And he's still trying to maintain his veneer, and he can't help himself but lose it a little bit and just kind of get swept up. It's a really nicely acted scene. We're going to get into this in the trivia, but I was intrigued when I was watching this with how many times they see BS or the full form of that word just because of the ratings and swearing and the MPAA ratings board being very particular when it comes to foul language. Not so much with violence, but definitely with nudity, with sexuality, with swearing.
I mean, it's the name of the game, so I feel like that's why it passed.
That's probably why it passed.
And it's a safe family environment. They're not saying it, nobody's being derogatory or aggressive. They're playing a game.
Yes. Right. There is a saying in baseball from umpires that when you get tossed, it's not the word fuck that gets you tossed, it's you that gets you tossed. So.
Oh! Because it can't be directed or pointed. We then get a real date. Ben gives Andy a motorcycle lesson on a boardwalk. There are a few places that are worse for a first-time motorcycle lesson, but I can count them on my hand. Then they get ice cream, and despite being splashed by a truck, they have a great time. Ben takes Andy back to allow her to have a shower. That's when Andy realizes she's actually falling in love with him. They have a real moment together, and it's ruining her.
It was ruining me.
Oh my God. Actually, no, it was really great. It was really great. They step into the shower, tastefully undressing. Sex or just playful? I'll leave that up to the MPAA ratings board to decide. The use of the Keith Urban song, I Wanna Love Somebody, honestly, loved it. I loved it. That was really adorable. And I think it's very cute, using a country song because he's a country boy. But yeah. That's all I gotta say. The soundtrack to this movie is pretty good. Nothing amazing, but we have our main song. Everyone has a main song. This is a good choice. Matthew here is just so effortlessly cool, even when silly things happen to him, like when he gets splashed with water.
His face, oh my God. When that happens, he's enjoying it and being playful.
Yes.
I would date that guy so hard.
I would date him so hard. I would date him so hard. He is who women want. He is what New York City women want. Tall, attractive, funny, has his own place, a good job, and thinks you're the most beautiful woman in the world. He seems attainable somehow. It's crazy. I have yet to find him, though, ladies, so who knows if he really exists.
Once again, Lord of the Rings level fantasy.
Literally.
Now it's time for the third act break. The big DeLauer ball is the next day. Ben invites Andy and wants to introduce her as his girlfriend. This is 0 hour for both of them, but Ben is thinking long term. He's gotten them tickets for Game 7 in a few days. He probably needed to sell a kidney for that, but Ben seems genuinely happy. Andy is torn. To write the article and humiliate Ben, or to sacrifice everything for love?
Andy tells Lana that she can't write the article. She's too invested in Ben. But Andy's boss pushes back. She's not a Girl Scout leader. Besides, the covers are already made up and the diamond ad buy from DeLauer will cover their budget for a whole year, Andy. Remember all those details the film was setting up? They're paying off in spades now that the stakes are needed. Like anybody who realizes they're heading off a cliff but can't stop, Andy decides to roll with it. Ben arrives in a car to pick her up. No motorcycle, good choice. And with a rose. She opens the door and stands at the top of the brownstone steps. Andy looks fantastic in her dress and cheekily calls him Sparky. We're ready for the showdown at the DeLauer Ball.
The gala is in full swing, with Mr. DeLauer, the diamond magnate, loaning out millions of dollars of diamonds to guests. Phillips and the entire team are here, including Tony, Thayer, and the Judys. They have to ultimately win over Mrs. DeLauer, who's the puppet master of her husband. Ben turns on the charm, while Andy herself is charmed by Mr. DeLauer, allowing herself to be draped in an 84-carat diamond necklace. She's overwhelmed, and Phillips realizes this is the time to see if Ben's wager has paid off. He asks Andy about Ben, and she tries to hem and haw out of it. Andy realizes she can't. She begs Phillips not to tell him.
Kate Hudson's good in this movie, but her equivocation here, trying to search herself, begging Phillips not to say anything to Ben about her feeling, it's a highlight of the film. Maybe the best moment of the film for me.
This is a woman who always prides herself on being really put together and discovers and then sits in her own vulnerability. I love that. But we got to go back. The dress, it's the perfect color, it's the perfect material. It looks like it's cut on the bias, so it drapes just so. It's revealing, but she doesn't look cheap. But the important thing here is, it's like with the purses. Could they have authentically afforded what they were carrying and what they were wearing? And I think she saw this dress and maybe she paid it off in installments or on her credit card because she knew, oh, I need that for someday. And then the someday happens. And women do that. We don't always buy out of necessity. We go, ooh, if I get invited to a wedding or a christening or whatever, right? And I believe that she owns this dress, but they do it in such a way that the diamond itself has a moment because that's an important plot line. And then to discover that it's real. I mean, for the love of God, that's why you can tell. The whole thing is stunning. She is both wearing and being worn by it all, and it's perfect. The wardrobe department should get much more acknowledgement for this moment. It's iconic.
As you said, Liz, it's almost ruined by the Vaseline on the lens.
I pity the poor intern who had to wipe that stuff off.
Oh my God.
All the details are paying off for me here. I love it. Playing Moon River and Sabrina's theme.
Yeah.
It's over the top, and yet I can't help
I didn't know
myself.
Sabrina's theme.
Well, but it's not just that. It's like you want her to come out of her apartment in an Audrey Hepburn moment,
Yes,
right?
yes.
And she does, but it's subtle because we haven't finished dressing her. And that only somebody who radiates like Kate Hudson does in this film could allow those diamonds to shine. It's very freaking clever, the whole thing.
Absolutely.
So Moon River, we're circling back. We're going back to Audrey Hepburn. We're going back to these iconic dresses that she would wear and all of it. 10 out of 10, no notes. Ben has won the account. Champagne pop. All's well that ends well, except not quite. The Judys, Spears and Green, aren't going down without taking Ben down with them. Girl, have at it. They sow discord with Tony and Thayer, pretending that Andy was aware of the bet the entire time. The boys are about as thick as whale sandwich and go to Andy, begging her not to reveal the bet to Phillips, which could cost them the account. Andy now realizes that Ben was playing her for a fool. And so too does Ben learn that Andy was playing him for a chump when he speaks with Lana, Andy's boss, when she calls him, Krull. He's but the guinea pig for her latest how-to article.
Andy's chugging drinks and takes to the microphone, upstaging Emmy Award-winning composer Marvin Hamlish.
Yes!
She attempts to humiliate Ben, but Ben gives it right back. The entire gala is horrified by their actions, save for Mrs. DeLauer, who laughs it up. They begin singing their own rendition of You're So Vain, a nice callback, before Andy flees out the front door, mortified. They confront each other outside as Andy is humiliated even further for running off with the diamond. Well, it's the dark night of the soul. Andy lost a guy in 10 days, but she retorts that you can't lose something you never had.
The sidekicks, oh my God, they have their moments. This is the resolution with heightened farce. The two Judys move as one, and it is beautiful choreography. And I've got a sneaking suspicion the actresses came up with it themselves. They move together, they step forward towards the camera, and the two bumbling boys, like, oh, shit, what have we done? I love how we're tying everything together really quickly, and these well-deserving actors have their moment.
Yeah, it really helps to send up the cringe that happens right after this. I'm not usually a huge fan of cringe. Some people don't like body horror. They don't like, nip tuck. I don't like cringe, and yet it's kind of perfect how it all kind of comes together at the same
In the right
moment.
hands, it works. It
Yeah.
works in Ricky Gervais's hands. It works in this hands. But, not everybody can do it. Ricky Gervais, Liz, is a...
I know him.
Brilliant.
But honestly, it's 50-50 with me, too. So
I remember not liking this diamond thing upon first viewing, thinking that it was an unnecessary extra bit, but now I can see how it was to further embarrass her and humiliate her.
beautifully put by Kathryn, by the way.
Well, they strip her down. Now she has
Yeah.
to be with who she is, and he has to be with who he is, because neither of them are perfect, right? What she did was cruel to him, and what he did was cruel to her.
The charade has ended, and Andy finishes her piece. Her boss loves it. Lana says that Andy has proven herself and can write anything she wants, except for politics, or religion, or really anything outside of Composure's mandate. She's got a wind, a light breeze. Andy thanks Lana for the opportunity, but passes, quitting on the spot. Ben, meanwhile, is talking to Kroll, his dog. Not his... well... He's changed a bit, and reveals that Kroll is the only one who truly knows them both.
Andy, for her part, is commiserating with Michelle, just like Michelle was with her at the beginning of the film. And Mike is back. He's a bit of a goober, but he can't stop thinking about Michelle. He's there to see if they could try again. The perfume you sprayed on my pillow is gone, and I want it back. She plays hard to get, a little bit, saying, I'm willing to consider it.
So we talked about the relevance to Sex and the City. What was Miranda's husband's name?
Steve.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh my God. They got in a Steve, and it works perfectly here. He's genuine, he's honest, and he's the most believable New Yorker in the whole thing,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But there's also still around in this period of time when this film was made, the cringe around men being vulnerable. And, you hope these films give men permission, particularly when they see Matthew McConaughey do it. The line, the perfume you sprayed on my pillow has gone and I wanted it back. Oh my God. I loved it because he didn't know how to say what he wanted to say, but that experience is what he was feeling. So that's what he gave her. That dude, that's a real guy.
Damn.
I love how he falls in love with this ugly dog.
I know. Really ugly dog.
Flash forward. We get an awful fake commercial for the first Frost Diamond campaign. Ben is directing. Tony forces him to read Andy's composure article. Ben is reticent until he discovers that it is indeed excellent and not what Andy set out to write. She admits that she's fallen for him.
If, unlike me, you've seen The Wedding Planner, or better yet, listen to their episode covering it, you know what happens next. Ben hops on his motorcycle and runs to Composure to find Andy, but her stuff is gone. Michelle and Jeannie tell him that Andy's quit and has an interview in Washington. Finally, Andy gets to write about things that matter, the end of democracy, because we can trace it back to this time. After calling out Michelle for her subterfuge as therapist, I love that double take, love it. Ben races out of the building and chases down Andy's cab on the Manhattan Bridge, Brooklyn Bridge. No, it's definitely the Manhattan Bridge. I live here and I couldn't tell. She's pissed, but he demands to know if everything in the article is true. She meant every word, but she can't stay in New York. She needs to go to Washington. Ben calls her on her bull. Literally, they're allowed one more. Because he can read her. The music swells and they kiss. It's not the Brooklyn Bridge, but the angle at which they shoot it makes you question which airport they're going to. Are they heading to Newark, New Jersey, or are they heading to JFK or LaGuardia? I had to pause that, and I had a New York tour guide license, so I should be able to pick it, and even I couldn't. I was like, what? Where the hell are they going?
Stopping off the side of the bridge is crazy.
That was probably the most expensive shot in the entire film.
Yeah, I read that they were chopping and changing because of it. They were like, we're going to do this at the airport because it's easier to film at JFK than it is to film on this bridge. So props to them. It's a beautifully shot moment, but highly confusing to anybody who knows that part of the city.
Hire a real ad agency, my dudes and dudettes. That commercial that they're doing here is just not good.
I think it's just so funny. It's so camp. And that's why I love it.
I think they know what they're doing.
Yeah, absolutely, they do.
Go frost yourself.
go frost yourself.
My biggest complaint here remains from the first viewing. Andy is out of a job and Ben has a multi-million-dollar account. I'd have preferred him to hand over the reins to Tony or to the Judys. He obviously doesn't understand women. Alas, even diamonds have their flaws. Get it? Because of the diamonds.
I did enjoy the ending, despite myself.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I got it. It ended. Then I thought, okay, I'll watch that again in like 5 years. It's not one of my favorites, but I understand why it is. The outfits are iconic. The scenes are iconic. Matthew McConaughey and Kate Hudson in their prime. Not to say that they're not. They're incredible now, but it's just like,
oh no, he's not in his prime. He's warming up, baby. He is warming up.
Oh, yes, you're so right. But yeah, so I enjoy this one for what it is. I understand it for what it is. I am just like, okay, cool.
I gotta admit, I got a little misty when Ben realizes he's about to lose Andy. I almost never cry in films.
What?
Really?
That's crazy.
Dude.
Steal.
Mm.
Trivia. Kate Hudson was given broad license to improvise on set. 3 notable examples: the poker scene for Boys' Night, in which Kate, as Andy, spills the veggie tray on the men, which the director knew was going to happen, but which was unknown to the other actors. When Andy gives Ben the dog, covering him in kisses. Matty McC's reaction there is genuine, as he didn't know the smooch fest was about to happen. And finally, the family album scene. Hudson also improvised several lines in the theater when Andy and Ben are watching Sleepless in Seattle. I've always wanted a man like Tom Hanks, and you can't watch Meg Ryan for 2 hours and not be thinking of another girl.
If reports are to be believed, the production borrowed nearly $15 million worth of jewels. I can't believe that they wouldn't create moissanite knockoffs. The insurance alone would be astronomical. But supposedly the jewels that Andy wears were themselves worth more than $6 million, including the pendant known as the Isadora, designed by Harry Winston and featuring an 84-carat yellow gold diamond as its centerpiece.
She talks in more recent interviews about how they were surrounded by armed security the
Yes,
entire time
I
they
did
shot
see
that.
that.
How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, 2003. We're going to argue about this, right? How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days is based on the picture book of the same name. The book has no narrative, only a list of comedic dating don'ts. So the characters and plot were created specifically for the film. Bonus trivia, Andy's friends, Michelle and Jeannie, are named after the authors of the book, Michelle Alexander and Jeannie Long. I didn't know that, and I love that piece of trivia.
I know, it's so cute.
At the big event, composer Marvin Hamlish protested against having to play someone else's music. In real life, he had protested when asked to compose the soundtrack for The Sting, which was to be based on the ragtime music of Scott Joplin. After seeing the partially finished film, Hamlish was enthusiastic and agreed to do it, resulting in his winning one of 3 Oscars in 1974, the others being for Best Song and Best Soundtracks for The Way We Were. Oh, what a great movie.
Oh my God, I can't. It's so traumatic. Oh my God.
Adam Goldberg, who plays Matthew McConaughey's artistic lead and friend, had co-starred with Matthew McConaughey in 2 previous movies, Ed TV and Dazed and Confused. Fans of that movie will remember Goldberg as the guy who Matthew rescues from getting his ass kicked at the hands of Clint.
There are unconfirmed rumours about supposed squabbles between the studio and the MPA, then the MPAA, over the content of swearing in this film, specifically the numerous times in which characters speak the expletive bullshit. Though there is no official number, it has long been held that there is a soft ceiling of 12 such utterances before a film is bumped up from a PG-13 rating to an R. That seems dramatic. This is not a trivial distinction for a studio that wants to open a film to as broad an audience as possible. Regardless, the film got its PG-13 rating, probably because the name of the card game had entered into the popular vernacular by the time of the movie's production.
Gwyneth Paltrow was initially set to star in the picture, but had to drop due to scheduling conflicts with the film A View from the Top. Mike Newell, who had directed 4 Weddings and a Funeral, was also up to helm the production, but couldn't commit due to his work on Mona Lisa's Smile.
Pros. Kate and Matthew's chemistry. Undeniable. Magnetic. Electric. Sparks.
You can be a good actor and not necessarily have chemistry with your co-lead. Famously, Paul Newman and Julie Andrews had 0 chemistry on Torn Curtain, their Hitchcock feature together. And
I gotta watch that now.
I watched it. It really drags the film down. But the acting here is great, and their chemistry is great.
I love the sidekicks. I love them. I think they're multi-dimensional. They're not just there to move the plot along. I think those actors have fun and they're given space to play. And I really thoroughly enjoyed the scenes with them in.
Matthew McConaughey.
Shirt off, Matthew McConaughey.
The direction and editing is really slick for a film of this time. You and I talked about this in The Wedding Planner, Liz. It's not a poorly shot or edited film, but it's fairly safe. I think that there are a number of really slick choices here, both in terms of aesthetic and in terms of camera work, that elevate this film from the usual kind of romantic comedy.
I think the plot was really interesting. I think it was like a fun idea that we'd never really seen before. It's like a new take on the classic rom-com.
Yeah.
And I had lots of fun.
Yeah, the dramatic irony is great. The pacing is great. It just really, it hummed. It didn't overstay its welcome. And there wasn't really a bad scene in this movie. I'm not going to say it is Best Picture material, but I enjoyed pretty much everything in this film.
Yeah, it wasn't the worst way I spent an evening.
Cons.
I think there are references that were inappropriate when this film was shot, and I would have liked the lead actors to have stepped up and said that's not okay. At this point, whether McConaughey felt he had that power or not, maybe, but Kate Hudson certainly did, and she should have known better. I think there were some tropes for gay people, for women, that actually were not required and didn't do anything.
Yeah.
None of the characters were vicious or mean, so we couldn't even write that off. It was just a bit of a bummer.
Yeah, her dialogue throughout, it's not bad. She's forced to say some banal and expositional lines that really just need to sell something to the audience. When she can improvise, when she's working with her actual character, I think that she's great. When she's a round peg in a square hole or a square peg in a round hole, it just doesn't work for me.
Yeah, I mean, Kathryn, you pretty much covered all of and everything you said, you just covered all of my cons. I mean, yeah, the fat phobia, the feminine archetypes, and belittling of women, and people using people in this plot. I think I didn't like that, but I mean, you have to because that's what we want. So it's like, can everything be forgiven? Is all fair in love and war? I don't know. It feels like if it was any other people, I feel like this is just like the perfect right amount, I suppose. It's a tough thing to say. That's why you can't really bring rom-coms into the real world. They just don't work. They're rom-coms, what they are. They live in their own world.
There's a lot of stuff in narrative that is delicious at arm's length that would be unnerving in the concrete. So we can watch action movies and realize that we shouldn't take other people's lives in real life. We can watch romantic comedies and realize that some of these things are not great in terms of problematic romantic behavior and just kind of go along for the ride. For me, the big thing that sticks out is that Ben gets the account and Andy has to quit. It fits, quote unquote, their journey, but it's still quite a downer that Ben gets everything and Andy has to start over, but now with a man.
Yeah, but what a man.
I'd be fine.
Personal opinion.
Kathryn, how about you give us 2 barrels of your personal opinion about this film?
Look, I wouldn't go out of my way to watch it again. I'm glad I stepped out of my comfort zone to watch it because there were moments that took me by pleasant surprise. I will still probably react with a no if people ask me, do I like rom-coms? But I have learned to tell the truth on myself and that actually, if it's the right picture with the right team, I do like rom-coms.
I think this film is a classic and is great fun. I just don't see myself running to watch it when I am feeling down or it's cold outside or there is a rom-com marathon. Marathon. I've always felt that way. And even after watching it again with fresh eyes, I feel the same. It does hit so many of the right notes and it's very iconic. I guess I am just not the exact target. Maybe it's because I can't see myself as Andy. It's aspirational, but not me. Wedding planner, she feels like me. I also think that Andy can veer into the unlikable category a tad in our final act, and then I stop wanting to be like her.
I have complaints about this movie. It's problematic at points. Kate Hudson's dialogue is so basic. The ending with Ben getting everything he wants and Andy just getting her man is meh. There are tropes aplenty, but I enjoyed every scene and every character in this film. I rewatched several to see some of the more subtle touches. More than that, the movie moves. There's a gentle sweetness to it, and structurally, it's nothing nouveau, but it's sound. This is textbook rom-com with some added spice that makes it fun. I love that Kate Hudson improvised so much, and more than that, both my wife and sister-in-law agreed that they would love to be the kind of woman who could pull off what Kate Hudson was doing. If you can get a film snob like me and the general public to agree, what more can you say?
Verdict.
The critics and the crowd are divided. Currently, the professionals are massively askew, with but 42% of them on board for How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. Audiences are much more positive. 73% give this film a thumbs up. That's a 33-point difference. Not the biggest in our canon, but still about a star and a half difference, and a major one. The difference between mediocrity and decency. Kathryn, lead us off. Who got this right? Critics, crowd, both? Neither.
Critics.
How about you, Liz?
I think that the crowd got it right. Yeah.
You don't go to a seafood place and complain about the ammonia. I do understand when people feel that there's overplay of tropes or things that go paint by numbers, but sometimes You want a cardigan to warm yourself with, and this film hits on all of those bits. I thoroughly enjoyed this film and think that it actually elevates above the usual rom-com baseline. My critics can sit on it. I'm going with The Crowd. How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days is perfectly situated at 77%. It's a solid film that's a fun watch with a surprising amount of subtlety to it. I'm going to watch it again sometime.
I give this film a solid 4 stars.
Once again, you're using the 5-star system, Liz.
Yeah, I mean, why not? I have my 5-star system. These 5 Liz stars are really, they're good stars, okay? Accept them. 4 stars, that's solid. I mean, the only one that's gotten 5 stars is Step Up 2.
Oh, that's right.
Yep.
Wait, I thought you gave that 4.5. No, you gave...
I gave that 5. 4.5 I gave to The Wedding Planner.
Oh, that's right.
Wait,
That's
you guys reviewed a Step Up film?
Yeah?
Yes.
Dude, Step Up 1. It makes me
Yeah?
want to do...
Yeah?
Wait.
No.
She's seen the Step Up films, but not Step Up 1.
I haven't seen Step Up 1.
Kathryn exits the building. That's it. Goodbye. I'm leaving. No, I am leaving.
Oh,
Goodbye.
the chair.
I've actually left.
I didn't
Bye.
care.
And that was the Critics in the Crowd covering How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. What do you think about the film? Did the critics get it right? Did the crowd get it right? Did both? Did neither? Hit us up on our socials and be sure to like and subscribe. And offer up any movie that you think that we should cover. Just remember, it has to have at least 25% difference on Rotten Tomatoes. Any parting words, Liz?
Thank you, Matthew McConaughey.
His abs are pretty juicy.
The Critics in the Crowd is hosted by Liz Ramirez and Steele Philippek. Editing and production handled by Steele. Social media by Wendy Dobkin. Logo by Aria Feliciano. Music by Joel Studler, provided by A Humble Bundle. All audio effects are sourced through freesound.org and used under the Creative Commons license. If you feel that we used a piece of audio to which you own the rights, please email helmstarmedia@gmail.com.